Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's late and I'm opening toys. It's opened late. This is Highly Articulated. I am Adam, and as you can see, I am opening the G.I. Joe Classified Series Dr. Mindbender, as well as the G.I. Joe Classified Series Serpentor and Air Chariot. I had a hard time getting the camera angle all set up for these guys because these boxes are quite big. I'm used to doing, a figure, um, and the figure boxes are sort of the same height, but they're only about this wide, so it doesn't take up that much space in the shot. But I really had to kind of monkey with the camera angle to get these guys to both fit, because, like I said, they're both in quite big boxes. On their own, neither of them is too much to sort of overwhelm the shot, but together they take up a lot of real estate, and I think that's especially going to be true even out of the box with the Serpentor and Air Chariot, because once that Air Chariot gets put together, it's decent size. Um, so without further ado, let's get opening. Um, I am going to start with Mindbender, because I think I can get him out of the box a little bit quicker. I think Serpentor is going to take a little bit longer to get the Air Chariot set up. So let's get. Yeah, let me see if I can still fit. Nah, all right. I'm pulling him off the screen for a moment. And we'll get, like I said, we'll get this guy opened up. So Dr. Mindbender comes in this cool box with sort of an outer, sleeve, and then a box inside. Dr. Mindbender is number 43. If you are a completionist and you're getting all of these, we're getting up there now. But you get the cool, very, very cool art, very dramatic art for super jacked Mindbender. And then this really, really cool box, which I'll get to sort of when I get there. Some detail work, some cool sort of mechanical, technological design on that side. We got the nice big Mindbender graphic on the back with a bunch of legalese at the bottom there. The art on these is really, really cool. You get the DNA, you get them sort of stealing the different DNA from the different tombs. Pretty cool. And then you get Dr. Mindbender's file card, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, on the other side. And then, like I said, we remove the outer sleeve there. And then we get this really cool Cobra DNA strand. Now, again, the art on the back, so you get the full sort of file card. You get the full box art on the back there. No legalese, no nothing, which is just a really, really great looking piece of art. I won't go over all the details because that would take me far too long. But anyway, let's get in here. So when you fold this thing open, you get the beauty that is Mindbender and all these really cool accessories. I'm looking forward to all these accessories because I want to build like a Mindbender lab, which I think might be really, really fun. The not fun thing is going to be figuring out how to get all this stuff out of here without damaging this box too much. It looks like there's a lot of tape on it, but I can't see how to get this stuff out. There's gotta be a way. There's gotta be a way to do it without damaging it. All right, well, let's get into it. I always start with the accessory, so I'm just gonna start cutting tape and hoping that I don't damage anything in the process. box wise. I try to protect the box, especially when they're, you know, a nice box like this. I do try to treat them respectfully and not wreck them, even though I'm just gonna keep it for myself forever probably. It's not an issue of like repacking, reselling, or anything like that. It's just I don't like to wreck stuff that's as nice looking as this. So I think I wonder, what if, let's try. I think that's from Sesame Street. Success! So I can get all the trays out without damaging anything. So that's a bonus. Legalese in the package there. First up, we get the pistol and then some containers. Now I think these containers are going to get stuff put in them once we get them out. But you know what? I'm going to quickly just pop this stuff out. As exciting as it is to listen to me try to talk over it, I think it's best if I just pop it all out quickly, and then I can talk about it after. It's just occurred to me that I probably should have grabbed the vintage figure to compare all these accessories with the original one, but oh well. I did not, so. Oh, that's interesting. So the skull is actually two pieces. And I think the brain can go inside there. I think I could probably do that better, but I mean, just to sort of quickly show. Anyway, we'll get into that in a sec. These are definitely going to be, I don't even know. I feel like I'm going to lose it already. Gundam. Some of my Gundam tools over here. Hold on. These little canister things are tiny, and they are going to get lost. So hopefully I can figure out what to do with those so I don't lose them. All right, that's all the accessories out. Now let's get Mindbender out. Now the way he's sitting in there, the way his cape's sitting in there, I don't like. I feel like there's going to be like creases or something in the cape, but we'll see. Oh, come on. All right. Oop. Sorry. All right. So the first thing I'm going to check on the figure itself is I've heard. Yeah, and I got a bit of it here too. There's staining on the parts where the cape has been sitting. I don't know if you could see that or not. Thinking not, but there's some gray on his shoulder there, which is too bad. To be honest, it's probably not going to bother me that much. I have heard that you can effectively clean it off, so I'll probably do that. His harness is off his shoulder, which I don't like. Let me fix that. Yeah, whatever. Maybe that's gonna be how it sits. Maybe that's supposed to be how it sits. Anyway, I don't. Can you see gray on his shoulder? No, my lighting's terrible. Oh well. The cape is thinner than I thought it would be. I kind of thought it would be like a heavier fabric. It's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm not angry or upset. I will very likely try to put a wire in it so that it will have a little bit of shape. Sculpt is great on the figure itself. The texture on the pants is really, really nice, which you can't really see, and I'm sure that the camera is not going to pick up. But there's texture on the boots as well. Very nice looking figure. Yeah, good texture where you want it. There's texture, sort of a snake reptilian texture on his wrist as well. And again, his gloves, not much going on, but they're just black gloved hands, but there's sort of a leather texture that looks kind of similar to what's on his boot, which is pretty nice. The monocle is pretty cool. There's sort of a there's some silver deco on it, which looks pretty cool. Altogether, pretty nice figure. Pretty much what I expected from any and all reviews that I've heard. As far as the accessories go, these are going to be a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of people sort of suggesting that if they miss it, it's okay because we'll probably get a single carded Mindbender. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I feel like the accessories that come with this guy are more or less what I would kind of expect. These are pretty cool though. So we've got two of them. We've got two of them, one small, one big. And we can get the sort of zombified corpse hand in one. And in the other one, this brain is going to have to come out of the skull because the brain can go in the other one. Now, both of these have little ports, little holes on them. This one is different than this one, though. So I'm trying to figure out. I know that this one, all these little syringe type things can actually go in here. So I'm going to do that because I feel like that's the best way to not lose them all. May or may not be the best way to do it, but So there you go. You get those little syringes plugged in there. I suspect those syringes will sort of plug in somewhere else as well once I sort of get familiar with sort of everything else this comes with. But two different it feels like two different versions of the sort of proby type thing. So that's very much like the vintage accessory. That one is, you know, a little bit more modernized or something. I don't know. That's, I guess, because they look sort of too similar for that to be accidental, at least to me. Then we get the little injector gun. I put the pistol already in the holster, but he does come with a pistol as well. So he's not just carrying scientific equipment, thankfully. Then a little canister. The little canister has a couple ports, or sorry, like male ends for sort of presumably, you know, the hose here. So that's going to go on there. And then I'm going to go with the more modern one, and I'm going to put that on there. Now it is, I just noticed this, there is a slight mushroom to it, which is definitely not going to show up. But there's a slight mushroom to it. So once this is plugged in, I suspect it'll be nice and snug. And you won't have to worry about it just sliding up. Yeah, it's pretty snug. Now I'm wondering, because there's another peg here, I'm wondering if there's a peg hole on his belt, and there is. So, well, that's cool. So you can peg the little canister on the back of his belt there and get this into his hand, or I can try to fumble my way through this. But his hand's not all the way in, so that's kind of annoying. But anyway, yeah, great figure, great accessories, really fun. I think he's going to be really fun to get all set up, to have a lab set up. I've already got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do for a lab and sort of what I'm going to use. But stay tuned. Maybe I'll update that at some point in the future. But let's get this box out of the way. We'll get, jeez, sorry. We get Mindbender hanging out over here, where he's not gonna get interrupted by man, I'm bumping this thing like crazy tonight. All right, the main event, as it were, the big box, the big daddy, Serpentor and Air Chariot. Now this is a figure that, if you know, if you watch my videos before, if you know me, you know that I'm not the biggest Serpentor fan. I never have been. I think it's a really cool design, but it wasn't necessarily one that I felt I absolutely needed in the classified line. Now, that being said, this thing looks pretty cool. Everybody's been raving about it. Everybody's been saying how great this figure is. Valentin Perez says favorite G.I. Joe character. Fair enough. You know, everybody's got a favorite, and everybody's, you know, allowed to have their own opinion. I'm certainly not saying that that he isn't a good design. It's just for whatever reason, it was never a design that I loved. But that being said, you know, people have been raving about this figure since before it came out. I remember, you know, when it was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con, people were just telling everybody that they could, you know, like in person, the textures and the size and everything was just so good and so so impressive that everybody was recommending that everybody buy this. But I you know, I'm still thinking, well, it's Serpentor, but you know, he's a great character, and if he's as good as everybody says, then I'm probably going to appreciate that I did go ahead and pull the trigger and get one of these. Now, starting with the box, we have sort of the similar idea to what Mindbender came in, where we have sort of this slip cover, and it's not going to. Oh, it is going to come out. There was I cheated. I already cut a couple pieces of tape because it was stuck in there. So we've got the same idea of this sort of slip cover over the box, with the big Serpentor art on the front, the file card-ish type thing on the side, and in fact this is on both sides for this guy. The full art on the back with the sort of legalese stuff at the bottom, and then when we pull him out, pull the sleeve, we get a very similar situation to what we got with Mindbender, which is to say we get the sort of Cobra double helix DNA right on the box there. And Serpentor is number 57. For anybody that's keeping track of those numbers at this point in the game, good for you. I've been tracking them and sort of keeping track of the figures by the numbers, which is actually kind of helpful. But I've gotten to the point now where I think there's going to be a couple that I'm going to pass on, so I'm not really that worried about those numbers anymore. Valentin Perez says Snake Eyes and Duke are the best characters in G.I. Joe. I wouldn't disagree with that. Snake Eyes is definitely my favorite, as I've said many times. And Duke is always a favorite as well. Valentin said the best villain in G.I. Joe, Storm Shadow. Fair enough. My favorite G.I. Joe character, well, I shouldn't say that. My favorite G.I. Joe figure has always been Chuckles. So very much looking forward to a Chuckles in the line. So how's that for sort of an obscure favorite? But anyway, without further ado, let's crack on and get into this guy. First immediate impression is that the window for this is the same size, I think, as it was for Mindbender. I'm pretty sure, like just looking at the box, I'm pretty sure that it's this. No, it's a little bit smaller. The window that the figure came in is a little bit smaller for Mindbender. But Mindbender didn't take up the whole window. Even before I've taken him out of the box, I realized that Serpentor is massive. He is a huge figure. This box is quite a bit thicker too. So I presume the air chariot is sort of in the back here. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, then we have, you know, the air chariot sort of pictured in the art here. We have the sword, the staff, the snake that killed and then was immediately retconned to put Duke in a coma. And then on the other side here, we have the alternate cowl, I guess. We have the wrist claw, and then we have the alternate head topper piece. These I feel like I keep bumping the camera because these boxes are so much bigger than I'm used to. The space that I normally work in, it takes up less space than these boxes do. So forgive me. I got to figure out a better setup so that I can't bump it. But in the meantime, you'll have to bear with me. There's just so much box here. All right. And again, forgive me for the lack of chatting while I make a whole bunch of noise and pull all this stuff out. Let's see here. Just gonna do, yeah. So this opens the same as Mindbender did. The box, the flaps on the front are sort of separate, and then you can pop this open and pull out the guts, pull out the innards. Oh, hold on. He's actually taped in here. Interesting. I have to get at those with an X-Acto so that I don't damage the packaging. All right, so pull that out, and then there you get the first glimpse at the air chariot. So Serpentor sort of in the box. Over here, the air chariot tucked in behind. We get the legalese in there as well, as what appears to be some instructions tucked over on this side. We'll get Serpentor out, and then I will get the, well, then we'll see where we're at. I may or may not do the air chariot once we get there. Let me see, what am I going to use? Again, my Gundam tools coming in handy. I got my some of my Gundam nippers that I'm going to use to clip these. That's cool. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask in the comments there. And if not, thank you for hanging out. And if you're watching this on replay and you have any questions, also feel free to reach out. Again. There should be some kind of drinking game. But how many times I bumped the camera tonight. Boy, do not want to come out. Come on, there we go. Let's see how easy this guy's gonna come out. I don't know if no, nah. I'm gonna cut this little box piece out because I feel like I'm gonna regret it if I don't. At the very least, I think I need to lift this to get the air chariot anyway. So. All right, where we're at. It's not going to show up. There's no way it's going to show up, but he's got red eyes, which I don't know that I've heard anybody mention. He is big. He is noticeably bigger than any other figure that I've seen so far in the line. Just as a very quick comparison, Mindbender is pretty normal sized, and he looks tiny compared to Serpentor. So that's interesting. He's huge. He's giant. So we get the scepter staff. It's got sort of a jeweled painted end on both sides. The snake, the sculpt is really, really nice. It's got little fangs, which you're not going to be able to see the fine detail of those little fangs, I don't think. But very, very nice design, very nice sculpt. Probably smart not to put too much paint deco on that. The claw, the two claws, so that's going to plug right in on Serpentor's wrist. The alternate headpiece, alternate cowl piece. So this gives you an option to add a little bit more articulation to the head, and I will take a closer look at those momentarily. We get Serpentor's sword, which does have a snake design, which is, the sculpt is okay. It's a little, it's not as crisp as this sculpt. So I'm a little bit disappointed that there wasn't a little bit more definition in that, but still looks really, really good. Then we get the, like I said, the rigid snake spear. No paint deco on this guy, but he comes in this really cool green. The sculpt on it is pretty decent. There's a different texture on the belly than there is on the back. Again, you know, there's fangs on this one too, but they're smaller. They look more like teeth, and he does have little eyes and stuff like that, which are difficult to make out. But yeah, pretty cool accessory. Mindbender was a cool figure. This guy, as far as textures and stuff, is kind of on a different level. Textured arms, textured sort of wrists, texture all over the hands, like different textures. It looks as though the hands are snakes. So like the top of his hand is like you kind of make that out, I think, well enough. He's got snakes on the top of his hands, snake on the belt, looks really good. A snake on either shoulder looks really good. And the snake that is around the shoulder, like, wraps around and then is continued on here. So the design is really, really well done. You know, snake sort of wrapped around. There's also a nice contrast between some matte stuff, some shinier stuff. Nothing's too shiny. The gloss on the gold is nice. It's not sort of overpoweringly shiny. I think it's a little bit shinier in person than it's sort of coming up on the video as well. But very, very nice. I'm not going to pose this guy too much without heating him up, as that is what I do with all my figures, is give them a nice warm bath before they get posed too much. But the cowl bit looks like it plugs in sort of mid back there. Let me see how easily I can get the cape off. Oh, I can get this cape off quite easily, I think. So let's do that. I think I can. I say as I like wreck it to try to get it off. Well, there we go. I'll just take it off one arm. The cape though, the cape is really cool. The cape has a snake sort of stamped snake skin texture stamped in. So there is actually like a texture to it. Now I've seen a lot of people put a wire in this. I'm going to do a wire in this one as well. So yeah, you can, I don't know if you can see the texture, but there's texture everywhere. Like head to toe, this guy is just covered in texture. He looks a little bit funny when you take the cape off, because now he just looks like he's in sort of a gold jumpsuit, but hey, that's cool. That's Serpentor. That's part of the reason that he was never one of my favorites. But anyway, to get this off, all you do is sort of pop it off the top of his head. It's a little bit like the Lady J figure, where it's just sort of plugged in, and then pop out the back bit. So it's secured in the back. There's a hole there, and then the other bit is secured by a peg on the top of his head. And for our purposes today, I'm gonna put the other piece on and then and leave it for now. I'm not gonna go back and forth. I don't know which one I'm gonna end up displaying it with. I'll probably go back and forth between the two for a minute and just sort of see what works for me, see what I enjoy on the shelf more, and then just sort of stick with one. I don't think I'm likely going to be going back and forth too much. I'm gonna get his little snake head hat, as it were. Just plug that on top, and then we get a slightly different look. But like I said, you now get more articulation in the neck, in the head, having removed the sort of hindrance of the cowl and headpiece that are one piece. I'm gonna just stand him over here for a brief moment. Let's see. So there's one of the waxed paper bags. So let's see what's in here. So in here, we effectively get the two machine guns that are going to be loaded on there. They are in pieces, so you get the barrel, the machine gun itself, and the ammo belts. Then we get the shorter of the claw pieces. So there's the two lengths. One is much longer, much more aggressive, much thicker blades, and the other is sort of the shorter, which yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with the longer for now. And again, as I said, I will I'll sort of experiment and see which version I prefer. It's a little that kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Wolverine or something like that. Now his his wrist's hinged, so you can sort of get his hand out of the way of those blades a little bit. But anyway, let's get these. Let's get these machine guns put together and see where we're at. Pretty straightforward. Plug in the barrel, and they are labeled left, right inside the mold there on the bottom side. So we know which one's left, which one is right. Again, this piece is slightly mushroomed, so you know which end plugs in, and the other end has a hole, so you could put blast effects in there if you wanted to. That clicks in nice. There's sort of a very positive click when you get it. So there's sort of no doubt that you have it. I wonder if this says left or right. I don't see it saying that anywhere, but So there's a slightly different hole here than there is on the back. And I'm just trying to figure out, okay, so this back one is a little bit higher. This isn't quite flat. So I just got to figure out which way it's going to go. I think I picked up the right one right off. So, because I think they are left and right. Like, I don't think they're interchangeable. I think you got to get the right one installed on the right weapon. Now it doesn't want to go in. Of course, why would it? Let's see here. Start there. Really does not want to pop in there. Let's see if the other one gives me any less grief. I thought I had the right ones, but maybe I don't. Now just looking, okay, so now just looking at them, let me just pop this one back out. The ammo belts aren't exactly the same. If you look at the, there's a little black. Okay, I just realized that there's instructions in the box for this, but I'm not going to bother with the instructions. Shout out to Kevin at Toying Around. I guess we have that in common. So the little ammo belts aren't quite the same. If you can see the little black tabs on these, let me see if I can get this. The little black tabs, this one is more in the center and this one is offset, so you know which one is which, because the little ports on the sides here, if you look closely, sort of inside the holes, they're also different. So, you know, one ammo belt will fit in each, and you just have to make sure that you put the right one in, which I have done, but they don't fit as well as I would have liked, regardless of the fact that I chose the right one. But anyway, I think if I heat that up, it'll probably be just fine. Because this one does not want to plug in properly. And you see, it's not like it's, I want to get it to sort of that next notch, and it just does not want to get in there. But that's fine for the purposes of sort of getting this thing together right now. We don't need it to get in there perfectly. I'll just set those off to one side. And again, give me a minute to get all this stuff out. Using these little nippers inside a box, I feel like I'm diffusing a bomb or something. Although much less stressful. Look at this guy. It's a really cool snake. This looks fantastic. Yeah, this guy looks great. Get the main piece out of there. The fan is functioning. It's too bad there isn't like a little button where you can push it and it sort of like spins the fan. But whatever, that's okay. That thing's pretty cool. Instructions, which I probably should have started with. One last thing to snip. All right. Taking a look at the instructions. 1, 2, 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps. I'll be honest with you. You don't need these. this, this this isn't going to tell you anything that you couldn't figure out on your own. Fair enough. This is 4+. So if you were 4 years old, you may need those instructions. You may want those instructions. However, at 40, I think I could probably manage. I say that, and then I'm going to struggle to get this to work, right? So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's hooks and there's, you know, holes on the back. Line them all up, and it just pops into place. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I haven't screwed that up yet. The steering column just plugs in. It's got its own little port there. Bump the camera again. Should I have done it in the reverse order? I wonder. There we go. Positive little click. Whoops. Whoops. Don't lean so heavily on the head. You'll pop it out. Now I'm wondering if I should push any further on this. I'm not going to for now. I'm going to take a look at those instructions after the fact and see. I'm not sure if this is meant to drop down a little bit further than what I've got so far, but we will see. We will see. It looks fantastic. The gold is nice. The tampos are all really clean. I wasn't sure if they were going to be tampos or stickers, but since we haven't gotten any stickers so far in the classified line, I'm not surprised that they are painted on. But they look fantastic. You get the gold is nice. The gold is sort of muted. It's a different color than Serpentor is. So the gold is, I think it's molded in this sort of gold plastic, whereas Serpentor is painted gold, so it's shinier, which works for me. We do get sort of a two-tone in the gold, and then the painted gold that's on here matches Serpentor a little bit more, but like I said, it looks fantastic. You know, the armor that he wears wouldn't be the same color as this anyway, because it's going to be different materials, so I don't need them to match. Scott, don't mess it up. Well, that's why I'm not forcing it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's sort of a little gap here, and I'm wondering if like it doesn't sit as flush as I would like it to. And I think I just have to monkey with it a little bit, which I will do when I'm not, you know, under watching eyes, scrutinizing what I'm doing. And then we get the tail fins. Now the tail fins are just like the guns. The tail fins are labeled left and right. So they now is it like facing it left right, or is it like when you're looking at it left right? That's what I don't know. And do they only go in one way? Okay, maybe I should consult the instructions. I feel it's gonna tell me left and right, and then, or it's No, it doesn't tell me anything. These instructions are useless. Oh, you know what I can do, because the guns are also labeled left, right? That's how I'm gonna know. So this gun is gonna go on this side, and this gun is labeled right. So I'm gonna use the right fin in the right gun on the same side, which will presumably then be the right side, as opposed to the left side. I don't mean the correct side, but I hope they will be the correct side as well. That's a nice snug friction fit. It's this doesn't have any mushroom to it, so it is just a friction fit. You just press it in there, and away you go. Which is good, because if you want to pop it out to sort of use it as a weapon, sort of to carry around, you have that option. And once they're in, they're again pretty snug. They had a mushroom, so I think that's, once those are in, they stay in. It would have been kind of cool to get these machine guns on a little bit more of a ball joint, where you could sort of tilt them up and down. But as they don't have that, I'm not super disappointed. But yeah, there it is, the air chariot, all complete-ish. Not necessarily clicked in properly, but like I said, the deco on this is really, really nice. This thing is a decent size, and front to back, it's a decent size as well. Just for my own curiosity, we are looking at a wingspan of about 9.5 inches, and tip to tail, it's about 8. But if you add the guns on there, it's probably closer to 9 inches. So decent size. This is going to be one where you're going to have to find some shelf space, which is going to be at a premium sooner rather than later, as those his tanks, are going to start rolling in, and then we're all really going to be in trouble. But yeah, looks pretty good. I'm very happy that Serpentor came with the air chariot. It would have been kind of disappointing not to get the air chariot with Serpentor, because I think if we didn't, we probably wouldn't get it at all. Like I said, I don't want to force any of these joints, because I haven't had a chance to heat it up. I've heard people have sort of struggled to get the handles, or sort of the hands onto the handles, so I'm not going to bother with that either, because I've gone a bit long on this unboxing, a little bit longer than I had anticipated, had hoped. What are you guys' thoughts? Are you guys picking these up? Do you have them on pre-order? Have you already gotten them? If you've already got it, let me know what you think. Do you love this thing? Are you not that fussed? It's like I said, he's not my favorite, but I'm not complaining. I think this is a great design, and a lot of fun. And I'm gonna say that I'm pretty pleased that I have this in my collection. Let's get this guy up here. We'll assume that he's like on land, ready to take off, getting ready to take off. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Tyler says, got it. He's already conquered a good portion of my shelf. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's big. I had the exact same issue with the Marvel Legends Mojo, where it's a great figure and I absolutely love it, but I had to rearrange 2 shelves and kind of condense down a bunch of stuff to make room for Mojo to fit, because he's a big boy. I'm certainly not complaining. That Mojo looks fantastic on the shelf. He is a fun addition to my X-Men, Marvel Legends X-Men collection. It just and in the same way, this guy is a pretty awesome figure. A lot of people are just sort of talking about like, oh, this is the best figure in the line. This is the best figure. Objectively, this is a really cool figure. Personally, subjectively, he's still not my favorite. But like I said, he looks really, really good. Just for anybody that was curious as well, I do have, we compared this guy to the height of, I'll just tuck that over there. We compared this guy to the height of Mindbender, but for a little bit more reference, my sort of ultimate roadblock, he's still noticeably taller than Roadblock, not Roadblock, Gung Ho. Sorry, my ultimate Gung Ho, where I've put some retro bits together with some of the modern one. He's still noticeably taller. He's still, and I mean, especially if we pop the hat off, he's still a good half an inch probably taller than Gung Ho is. And I keep seeing that comparison, but I don't see a lot of comparisons to more sort of standard sized figures. And he absolutely towers over Duke. Like Duke comes up to his shoulders, and then for an even smaller figure, slightly shorter, we'll get Scarlet on that side, and Scarlet comes up to like the top of his arm, like not even quite up to the top of his shoulder. So he is huge, and he's way thicker too. Like his chest is bigger, his legs are bigger, his feet, like look at the difference in the size of the feet. Like that's a pretty good indication of how much bigger, how much beefier this guy is than anything that we've gotten so far. So yeah, there they are, Serpentor and Mindbender. As I said, great figures, great additions to the line. Wouldn't have been the top of my list, and I still am sort of leaning towards saying that it's not going to be probably my figure of the year or anything like that. But that being said, really, really nice figures, really great figures. The Air Chariot is a lot of fun. I'm already sort of thinking about, how I'm going to play with this. I feel like Cobra Commander might steal the Air Chariot and might crash it. That's where my head canon goes, where my brain goes. But anyway, that's all I got. These are great figures, and if you haven't got them, I would definitely recommend them. They're fun characters. They're great figures. Don't get me not really caring about Serpentor confused with the fact that this is a fantastic figure. Serpentor is a fantastic figure. The textures are phenomenal. The accessories are great. The Air Chariot is a lot of fun. This snake feels like a bonus, but I'll take it anytime we can get scaled animal figures, animal companions. I'm all for it. So on that note, thank you guys for all checking this out. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I'm going live, make sure you hit the notification button there as well. It's usually around the same time, but it can be sort of different nights sometimes, especially for opening late. I may do another one of these tomorrow because I've still got more stuff that I need to open. I got a nice big package from Mike at ecollectibles.ca, and I have some Ninja Turtles ultimates some Super 7 TMNT ultimate figures that I need to open, and I think I will probably try to do that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to know when I'm going to do that one, make sure you hit that notification bell. And on that note, thank you, and until next time, bye-bye.